As you have watched this from the sidelines, given this sort of hypothesis that you've, made public, this is really kind of a form of organized crime or operates like that. What have you thought about this hush money trial?
It felt familiar to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I found that my own reaction so dramatic that I tried to suppress it, but it kept coming back and coming back. It's back fully now watching this trial.
Yeah.
They even did the Cosa Nostra trick of trying to bring people into court to rattle a witness, like the Godfather 2, Michael Corleone brings Frankie Pentangeli's brother from Sicily to try and rattle him. I don't think Lauren Boebert or J.D. Vance have that effect on a witness.
They didn't have to travel as far.
But it's a lot. They even dress like the mobsters do. So, yes, it felt familiar.
What did you, I mean, we sort of read that excerpt from David Pecker's testimony when he talks about this meeting in January of 2017. You're there. Dave Pecker enters the room. Trump says he knows more than anybody else here. Do you remember that meeting?
Yeah, I want to be careful. I don't want to comment on a witness's testimony until the jury has rendered a verdict. But I wrote down everything that happened. And if you read my memos, that's not recorded in it. It doesn't mean that Pecker's being dishonest. He may just have a different recollection than I do. Interesting.
We do have, just because some of the checks that Donald Trump allegedly signed are also on key dates in the administration. For example, the day that Donald Trump sent a $70,000 check to Michael Cohen, reimbursing him allegedly for the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. That's the same day that Trump was pressuring you to end the Flynn investigation in the Oval Office. Now, I'm not presuming you know about the reimbursement checks, but it does suggest that throughout the Trump presidency, he may have been, shall we say, multitasking. And I do wonder, as we go back to the sort of the idea that the Trump organization and indeed the Trump presidency may have operated in a kind of organized crime syndicate-like fashion. What parallels do you see in the sort of boss being involved in all of the business, if you will?
Well, he kind of turned the Oval Office into a social club, right? A version of John Gotti's Ravenite social club where people just came in with the business at hand. Some of it was government, and apparently some of it was very private. I wasn't there at that same time to see him. I was there to see his chief of staff, who then said, hey, you want to visit the boss? And I'm like, no, I'm sure he's busy. I got a lot to do. No, don't worry about it. He's, no, come on.
That sounds very much like a Godfather kind of, come in and kiss the ring.
Yeah. You want to see the big man, basically. And I tried very hard not to, but he ushered me in. And so that was one of my encounters with the president.
But it seems like there were these colorful characters, to be euphemistic about it, that were mixing in with the sort of normal day-to-day sort of affairs of the White House. Did that strike you as odd at any point, or was that just the way Trump was?
Well, odd in that a president doesn't operate that way. I'd seen other presidents up close, and because of their responsibilities, they exercise a certain amount of discipline, information management, but this was chaotic. But that was the way of this particular boss.
I got to ask you, because we've been talking so much about the way in which the prosecution is laying out a case that suggests the Trump campaign was desperate to quell another October surprise, right? We didn't learn about Stormy Daniels in the literal hours leading up to Election Day. We did hear more about Hillary Clinton's emails. I know that you played an instrumental role in all of that, and I wonder how you're thinking about the sort of information control in and around the election, and whether, you have any regrets.
I have a deep and lasting regret that we were involved at all. I felt that in the exact moment I was briefed on what had happened with the investigation on the 27th of October. It's interesting now to look back and see, as we were wrestling with this nightmare, trying to figure out which of our options was the least bad, all of this was going on the Trump side, trying to suppress information. And so obviously, I knew nothing about it, and I tried not to think about the political in making that decision, but it's a strange overlap of events.
Can I ask you about this desire to not think about the political? Because this particular Department of Justice, especially in its early days, seemed very concerned about appearing too political. In the aftermath of January 6th, there are a lot of folks on both sides of the aisle that say Merrick Garland and the DOJ were too concerned about the appearance of going after Trump after January 6th. They started the January 6th investigation too slow. They started it from the bottom up when they should have started from the top down. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's caught a lot of rocks, I'm reluctant to throw any, but I do think they overlearned some of the lessons from my own experience and from the Trump administration, and they were too slow. And it's cost us because we finally got a special counsel very late in the game, and we're stuck the way we are. And so, yeah, I would have hoped they would have moved faster. But again, given when they came into office, what they were trying to accomplish, I get why they did it, but I still think it was a mistake.
How do you feel when you think about, this hush money trial is likely to be the only criminal trial that goes forward? I mean, we don't know for certain, but given where the calendar is, this is the only one that it looks like the American public will have a verdict on before the election. As a former law enforcement guy, are you frustrated by the way this is all unfolding?
Yes, but I also have found this trial to be a great civics lesson for the American people. It appears more are paying attention than I would have expected, and they've seen this is how it works. You may not lose supporters when you shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue, but you will be held accountable. And this is what accountability looks like. You have to sit at that table, no matter who you are, and shut up. The jury is what matters. We will protect them at all costs. This is how it works, and it's a great lesson for the American people. The rule of law in this country, especially the court system, has passed its stress test. Slow on the federal side, but this is a great example for our people.
You say it's passed its stress test. Are you concerned that it may get a test unlike any other if Donald Trump is reelected? I mean, when you think about a second Trump administration, what do you think the implications would be for the FBI?
Oh, serious, for the Justice Department and the FBI, because Trump is coming for those institutions. He knows their power, and I think he has regrets that he didn't work hard enough to corrupt them last time. So he's coming for them, and that's a danger for all Americans. He's going to put people in positions in those organizations. He didn't have all-stars the last time. He'll have the bottom of the barrel this time, but people who will want to do his will, and that should worry every American. This election matters. Because of a reason like that, people have to participate. You cannot sit on the sideline. I don't care how you feel about Joe Biden, you must vote for him because the consequences on the other side are too severe.